I do regularly have to put Band-Aids on my nipples.
I know.
Listen, you think I'd have learned my lesson by now and just invested in a pair of pasties?
Are pasties reusable?
What's up, everybody? This is the Console Crusade podcast. I'm trying to be nonchalant. I'm chill. It's not a big deal. I've been doing this every week. Multiple times a week.
Every week.
So
You're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, so I'm EJ Olson. This is a video game podcast. This is Nick Durheim. This is also a video game podcast.
Hi, hello. This is the video game podcast.
We're finally doing it. Dude, I mean, okay, so when we started this podcast, we're like, or maybe I was like, we need to have a bit, man, so everybody knows when they hear it, it's the Console Crusade. And it's just evolved to us just awkwardly being like, well, now we're doing this thing.
I think the bit is basically covered by the little audio thing we do at the beginning.
That is an evolution of the bit, and I appreciate that. The little jingle and the little thing, and then more of the jingle.
Also, who started the jingle in the front of a podcast? Is it just copying like TV shows? Like radio programs don't really have like they kind of have like a little whooshing sound effect or whatever, and pill till the morning, blah, 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 you know, that kind of stuff. But
you know, that's a really good question. I don't know the origin of having a little stinger. Would you call it a stinger? What would you call that?
I think that depends on the length. I think a stinger is more of an interstitial kind of thing,
okay.
Which some podcasts do, especially if they have enough of a following to actually have advertisements where they can transition between pre-recorded stinger / talk about Blue Apron and some mattress.
So what is that? Is it a tag? What would you call that? I don't know. Who cares? Who
I don't know
cares? Anyway.
It's the Wild West. It's just recording audio, putting it on the internet on an RSS feed, and having people with iPhones and Androids download it on their phone automatically and listen to it, maybe. What is
an iPhone? Is that like a dolphin?
Apple's new dolphin.
Okay, so this is the Console Crusade podcast, and we are back, and I'm cracking a cold, fresh LaCroix.
What you got there? Is that mango? Is that peach pear?
Not a sponsor. This is pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse.
It's the worst flavor besides seltzer.
Yeah, because it's grapefruit, right?
Yeah, which is just an awful flavor experience. Just everything about it is unenjoyable. But
it's just an awful fruit.
It's just garbage. My taste buds don't agree with it. But it's the only LaCroix I had in the house. And what would a Console Crusade be without my LaCroix boy?
Tastes like grapefruit and bath water.
Oh, God. A lot's happened since last we recorded, but last month it was really cool to shit on LaCroix and be like, it was like a vat of water was transported next to a crate of tangerines. Like, fuck you. Like those got really big and then they died, thankfully.
Tastes like someone describing to you what a mango tastes like.
Exactly. It's like someone yelled at, strawberry!
God.
Oh. Okay, I have to admit, and I don't know if I've done this on the podcast, though I've told you. Let me just take a sip here before I desecrate the name of LaCroix. Oh, that's grapefruit. So, at work, they stock up on bubbly, which I'd never heard of bubbly until I started working at this company. But then I started seeing ads for bubbly on internet videos, on television. Like, is bubbly relatively new?
I've never heard of it still, except for that one time you sent me a picture of you holding it.
Huh.
So I think it might be one of those things where your phone heard you say the name out loud. So then Instagram's like, oh, they said it out loud. We better advertise to this motherfucker.
Dude,
all the time.
You remember when Zuck was on trial and he found every way under the sun to deny that our apps listen to us and then cater advertising based on the things it hears? I mean, in every possible way, tried to deny it. And then he was like, what don't you understand about my answer, Judge? I got all like fucking snappy with her and shit.
Yeah, the only thing I remember from that is him being really bad at drinking water.
That was really awkward. You remember that barbecue video where he's like, "Oh, I'm smoking meats. I'm smoking meat.
Look at me, I'm wearing jeans like a human person and wearing these sandals. I am not going to be your president, but I might be.
I am a robot. Please, please, please." I don't understand. I know it's like again, it's one of those things that kind of got big on the internet. It was like, oh, he's an alien or he's a robot or something. But anyway, bubbly. It's got 10 milligrams of sodium in it, you see. So, like, the flavor is technically, I mean, it's just a lot better than LaCroix. And I was very tepid with that, analysis initially, where I was like, I feel bad. This isn't LaCroix. LaCroix's my drink. And it's gotten to a point where it's like, dude, the orange bubbly is just so fucking good. It's like an orange soda. Like, just straight up.
I don't believe you, but a little bit of sodium does go a long way. So that I do believe.
Yeah. So anyway, today I feel like we could talk about a number of things. We could be good old boys and just follow up our pre-E3 pod with a post-E3 pod, but that was so...
And I don't even remember. That's a foggy memory in the annals of history, and there's literally no way I could ever go back and listen to that podcast and reconfirm what we talked about. So
what was that, 3 months ago?
Yeah, that was like 30 years ago.
Oh shit.
I was just a sparkle in my mother's eye.
Dude, we look good for 55. Like, look at us.
No, that was 2 months ago. So that's
2 months ago.
That's too far back. I can't even think about it.
No one cares either. E3 is long gone. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about E3 just in bringing up Super Smash Bros., which we are going to talk about.
Yeah, big surprise. It's only like both of our favorite series.
Smash Bros. Is definitely on my top 10, which our listeners would know, but I never released that episode.
What series do you like more than Smash Bros. As a whole, though?
What series?
Let's boil it down. Do you like Pokemon more? No. Do you like Elder Scrolls more? No, you just like the one.
That is a goddamn good point. When I think of series
as a whole, Smash Bros. Pound for pound, it's a winner. Even 64, which nobody actually really likes, but it's like one of the best 64 games out of the 10 that you want to play.
Well, let's just dive into Smash then. Let's just do it. I was gonna maybe save that for last, but we're here. Let's just do it. Speaking of 64, man.
Dude, the E3 Direct where they just spent 20 minutes talking about Smash Bros., I was in for it. Everyone in the group chat was kind of pissy. Well, mostly it was Drew and Chris. They're like, this is too much Smash. I'm like, this is as much Smash as I would ever want.
So I actually do remember that morning very well. I went to work a few hours late, and I had to go to the DMV that morning. It was perfectly planned, so I could watch the Direct while I waited in line at the DMV. And I actually ended up missing the Direct because I went to one DMV, and they were so full I had to drive clear across the other side of town, 20 minutes away, to the other DMV. So I actually missed the live Direct. I was listening to it a little bit in my car, but like I couldn't see anything. So like,
that's a bummer, dude.
Yeah, at red lights, I would stop and be like, what's happening? And try to look at it, and it didn't quite work. But I do recall afterward, after I recapped it, I was like, that was a really solid Direct. They announced a bunch of games I wanted to play, and they did a shit ton of Smash stuff. And yeah, some of the guys were not so happy.
I mean, it was weaker than last year, but last year they just launched a new console, and they had to prove to everyone that it was going to be worth getting for the next couple years, basically. So they showed a lot more future games, as opposed to this year. They didn't even show like Yoshi. They didn't talk about Metroid at all. They didn't really talk about Pokemon too much, but games that are coming out in a few months. But it's not the Pokemon that people wanted, so it's like, it wasn't as exciting. I get that.
No, and I think Nintendo knows that those games are going to sell how they're going to sell, so like, there's no need to go overboard with those, right? There's no need to sort of beat that into us. It's like, okay, yeah, we know it's there. I'm just burping on the pod here. That's what I get for drinking LaCroix.
Should be drinking bubbly.
Oh, fuck. No, bubbly is more carbonated, but less harsh. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it makes me way more gaseous.
And there's nothing that you're not more than is gaseous. That made a lot of sense. Anyway.
So the one thing that, coming out of that Direct, the big thing for me, was the fact that they announced that all characters ever are playable, right?
Dude, that was such a cool moment where you just see Snake pop out of the box. Because that was the least foreseen kind of thing, right? Because I had said Ice Climbers, and that was pretty much a shoo-in. And you said, like, Champion Link being different, and that's, like, kind of different, but whatever. But just Snake showing up, and then Wolf, and then Young Link, so there's 3 Links now. That was just a really cool kind of thing.
I remember sometime in the last year having a Twitter dialogue with you, and I think Brian Altano was the catalyst for this. Maybe I was replying to a tweet of his that you had replied to. I don't remember. But y'all shat on me pretty good when I was like, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a sequel. Not even a sequel. Like, this isn't even a sequel. These games are iterative, right? So it makes perfect sense. I think it's also reasonable for us to be mad when it doesn't happen, that the new game contains everything from the last game and then some, right? You build upon what happened 5, 6 years ago, whatever. Or 4 years ago? When did that Smash 4 come out?
2014.
Holy shit. Not even 4 years ago. Wow.
Well, it'll be more than 4 years by the time Smash comes out.
Right.
By like 2 months.
Right,
so.
right. So anyway, I just feel like, yeah, again, for an iterative series like that, you know, it's why is that unreasonable for us to expect that, hey, all the characters you've ever made should be in there?
There's no precedent for that. The only game that's had all the characters from the game before is Melee. Brawl had characters cut out. Smash 4 had characters cut out from Brawl.
In 2018, when going into developing a game, like, I don't think it's unreasonable for us to expect that. And the discourse surrounding it was like, y'all are needy and shut the fuck up.
Which I get. I get that. I mean, that's my stance basically, is don't be setting your expectations unreasonably. And I don't think it's reasonable to expect, like, it's cool to like hope for it, but it's the same thing that of people getting mad at Star Wars. It's like, don't get your expectations too high and then you won't get let down as hard. And it's really annoying to hear people complain about something that you're excited for. But I also get that it's annoying to be down on something and to hear everyone super stoked about it.
Yeah, that's not a great feeling left out. Some people do that for the fun of it, right? They just want to be contrarian for contrarian's sake, and that's how they feel special. But
it could be fun, but it brings people down.
Yeah, it's not where I want to be. I want to enjoy things with people. I want to be in on it, man. And so anyway, the moment when they revealed it, that was fun. But after the dust settled, it was kind of like, well, good. They fucking should have done this. This is exactly what they should do. And it is difficult for me to want to reward the company or praise the company for doing something they should be doing. Like, congratulations, you've now done what any other company would have done. And you're making this big special moment. And that's kind of Nintendo's MO, right? They play catch up and then they do the Apple thing.
I just like to look at it in the context of fighting games in general. And when has anyone ever been happy about a new fighting game? Like, I just remember Street Fighter V having a huge debacle when it came out. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite wasn't even played at EVO. Tekken 7 took like 5 years to come from arcade to consoles. Like, that's what happened there.
Right.
Like, it's just a weird kind of genre. It's a very niche kind of thing, except for Smash Bros. That's like, it's a party game as well as a fighting game.
Right.
So there's low stakes and high stakes. So it's just a really kind of diverse crowd that's looking into it. So no matter what you do, someone's going to be mad. So you just kind of have to pull back the bullshit and just be like, I like this. I'm excited about this. It's really cool that there's 103 stages and 28 hours of music, and like that kind of stuff's really cool. And some people would be mad like, oh, it's too much like Smash 4. It's just a reskin. It's an up-res. It's a whatever. It's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's a port of a 4-year-old game. Like, whatever. Who cares?
Well, the thing is, at least with Mario Kart 8, it was like, hey, this is a port. We gave you a couple of new things. We gave you the DLC. But it was like, this is a port, period. Cool. I'm totally happy with ports. But be upfront about it. Like, Splatoon 2 was a port, and they charged me, full price for a game I thought I was getting something more out of. And don't get me wrong, I love the game, but it was a fucking port. They trickled DLC into. But as far as Smash goes, I would have been happy with a port, right? But this is obviously something I think much more special, right?
It looks faster.
People who played it, was it at E3, I'm assuming then?
It was at E3. They also had it playable at Comic-Con, and they'll have versions of it playable from here to eternity at every big show.
Right. Some of the guys that we listened to were talking about it, and they said it feels very distinct. They were like, this is the biggest departure, or biggest departure maybe isn't the right way to describe it. It is the most distinct feeling between any other iteration of Smash Bros. And so how true that is, was it based on conditions? Like, was he using a Joy-Con? Like, I don't know how truthful that is or how, reliable.
What I know is every time they've had it playable for the public, and I don't know if this is different for like behind closed doors, but everyone's been using a Pro Controller.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't believe it'll be the biggest departure just because of how vastly different Melee was from 64, and then how different Brawl was from Melee. Like, those are pretty big jumps. It seems like it's been getting less different each time.
So I'm curious to know what experience this person had and that caused him to say that. And
right.
If that's going to hold true, or if he was just being hyperbolic because he's on a podcast and that's what he has to do.
I mean, there's just a lot of like little things, and there are things that could have been done in like a balance update, but they're just in this version, like rolling stales over time so you have less invincibility, or having a directional air dodge again and not being able to air dodge infinitely. So it's a more aggressive kind of stance, like trying to push it towards people fighting instead of playing more defensively and like holding out the clock. It seems like it's balanced a little bit more towards a competitive kind of standpoint. I also did like, I don't know what your stance is on this, but the term Echo Fighters being introduced and showing off a new character and Daisy being an echo of Peach. I think that's a cool way to add different characters without having to go whole hog into creating a new move list. And they've done that in the past, but it just didn't have a term. And people complain about it. It's like, oh, the time you spent copying and pasting this character and tweaking some of the moves could have been used to make a new character. But I'm pretty fine with that, especially since if you look at other fighting games, there are a lot of characters that have the same move list, but they're just slightly different. So like, I'm not too like butthurt about that. It's just like, oh, cool, I can play as Chrom because I like the character Chrom, and this game is all about the fan service. If you have a favorite character, you can play that favorite character, and that's cool.
No, I'm totally okay with it. The only thing that irks me about it is, am I going to have to like click on, am I going to have to click on Roy to bring up Chrom, or is Chrom going to have his own character select icon?
They talked about that in the last direct.
Did they?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, there's like there's two different modes. You can either have it so each character has their own portrait, or it'll be like a picture-in-picture, and you can swap between the two. Okay.
Yeah, because I would like it if they all have their own icon. And even, I think it's good that they came out and announced that these are Echo characters, right? To sort of let people know that we understand that these are quote-unquote clone characters, but now there's like a reason for it, right? And like you said, people getting upset, like, well, you could have taken this time to craft a new character, and it's not that easy, and it's not that quick, right?
Yeah, especially as anal retentive as Sakurai is.
Right, so now Echo Fighters, it's more of a justification to say, okay, we're going to take 90% of the work's been done on Roy. We're gonna give Chrom Ike's up B, and we're gonna tweak his pacing a little bit, make him a little slower. Mm-hmm. But it saved all this time and effort, but you're getting a new character. So people should hopefully understand and say, hey, I don't know, like say somebody wanted a Chrono or an Isaac from Golden Sun, right? Building a whole new character like that is going to take so much more time than copying and pasting a current Fire Emblem character onto another Fire Emblem character.
Yeah, you got Sony to choose from.
Yeah, so I'm totally okay with it, and I hope there's more than they've announced.
Oh, there will be. There has to be.
There will be, but we go down the entire roster and think of a parallel, right, for so many of these characters.
I did see a post on Reddit that literally they went through every single character and gave them Echo Fighter possibilities.
Really? Okay, I need to pull that up.
It was really dumb. Some of them were really egregious stretches too.
Dude, Yoshi and Birdo, dude.
I hate that.
Why?
Birdo doesn't flutter jump. Show me one time Birdo's flutter jumped.
Oh, wow. Okay. Those are the small tweaks, right?
How many more Marios can we get in this game? Every single Mario that has a outfit in Mario Odyssey. I want Samurai Mario.
Just look at the sword-based characters, right?
Link, Young Link, Toon Link, Marth, Roy, Lucina, Ike, Chrom, Corrin, Robin.
Didn't Sakurai mention that in the direct? Or was that something I read on Twitter?
It'd be really tight to see Lyn, but I don't know if her fighting style is close enough to anyone who's currently in Smash. I think it'd have to be a whole new character.
Who's Lyn?
She's from the first Western Fire Emblem game on Game Boy Advance. The one that I rented, but you didn't rent because apparently you'd only remember Sacred Stones, and I never played that. We've been over this 100 times, I swear to God.
It's just so weird that we have this shared memory that isn't real, apparently.
It's Berenstain!
Yeah, right? Nelson Mandela came into our home in the middle of the night and took our Game Boy cartridges. Is that how that works?
Nelson Mandela as portrayed by Sinbad.
Oh, Sinbad. I did a lot of research into the whole Sinbad thing, man, because I swear to God, I remember...
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say out loud.
Yo, I remember...
I did a lot of research into the whole Sinbad thing.
Okay, I sound like friend of the podcast, Trevor Chafee.
Oh my God. You're just not good at Google, dude.
And I had all these memories, of knowing that there was a Kazam, right? Or there was a Shazam with Shaq. Is that the one? Knowing that there was one and thinking to myself, oh, this movie is a ripoff of the Shaq movie. It's so crazy how many other people had that same memory of thinking, well, this is a ripoff, knowing that the Shaq movie was real. Anyway.
Kazam was the Shaq movie.
Kazam was, okay.
Yeah, where he's a genie in a boombox.
So off the top of your head, what are a couple of Echo Fighters that would be simple that you would want to see?
That I would want to see or that I think are actually going to happen?
That you want to see. It's a tough question. Dude, Shadow the Hedgehog. Easy, right?
I don't want to see Shadow the Hedgehog. I just feel like it's going to happen. Who wants Shadow? Be real. Be reasonable with me.
All of the out of control Sonic the Hedgehog fans that for some reason
like
still exist.
You and me, right? Like you're talking about us.
Dude, here's the thing. I have a lot of Sonic fan films that I am embarrassed or would be embarrassed if anyone were to see said films or even to understand the nature of the films.
I'm going to cut you off right there and transition into literally anything else. I don't know, like I think Proto Man would be a good fit for Mega Man.
I'm trying to think, is he an assist trophy? Or no, he's a part of the...
He's in Mega Man's Final Smash.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But Base has that giant headgear, so I don't think he'd be a good fit for an Echo. And Mega Man X is like tall and differently shaped, and I feel like they would keep that chibi kind of style for the... It matches the aesthetic of the old Mega Man games a lot better.
I'm disappointed that we're not going to get an X. X would have been really fucking cool. Or Zero. Like, that's just... I want to see that in Smash, man.
A Zero Assist Trophy. That's cool.
I mean...
I'm fine with that.
I don't give a fuck about assist trophies, man. I just don't care. I've got Amiibo now.
Zero's already in way too many fighting games.
Perfect template. Anyway.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't think Mario games need any more representation, except maybe, like, Wart could be cool. He's been in one game. I don't think he really needs that much more. He's fine. Keep him in the past. Keep that weird frogman in Mario 2.
You know who would be cool in this game?
Waluigi.
Yeah, no, dude. Waluigi. I think Waluigi's still gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen.
That'd be the ultimate troll.
Dude, Sakurai, he likes to have fun every now and again.
I mean, yeah, you saw the King K. Rool reveal. That was so cool. Oh my gosh, King K. Rool's awesome. I still listen to that music every now and then just to get hyped.
Just to get stoked out of your gourd.
That sick violin, or a trumpet, just like getting ready to fight.
Dude, good meme material in that last little video there.
All of the videos have been pretty good for the memory.
The memories.
Yeah, man, just Mega Man getting stabbed through the heart by Ridley. Oh my god.
So, what are we missing? What were some of the other big things that happened in the E3 Direct? Before we move on to the last Direct.
Well, I mean, the thing I remember the most were the character reveals, and there was some, like, balance. Like, he spent, like, 10 minutes just talking about, oh, Olimar's face shield gets cracked if he gets attacked, but don't worry, it gets better. Just like little tiny things. You're just like, I don't really care about this, but I really like that you're dedicated enough to tell us all the little changes you made.
Yeah, they're just trying to pad that Direct out a little bit.
Very into it.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if it was the last Direct where they showed like a lot of the returning 3DS stages, and they didn't spend too much time about that. It was just like, here's what Inkling plays like. And at the end, here's Ridley.
We've only got 5 new character announcements. And then how many Echoes? 3 Echoes?
Do we have 5 new characters? Yeah, we do.
5, yeah, Inkling, Ridley, Simon, King K. Rool. So 4 new characters, actually. And then Richter is an Echo of Simon, obviously.
Then we also got Chrom and Dark Samus. But I don't think they've grouped up the old Echoes except for Dark Pit. I think he's the only other Echo that they've grouped together as such. Unless they did that with Lucina and I just didn't notice on the actual Smash page.
They did change her. Sorry, I'm just looking at this Smash roster, and it gets so weird towards the end.
A lot of characters.
I mean, 67 characters so far.
Well, that's not counting Echoes, but...
Oh, you're right. It's not counting Echoes.
Because that's 6 Echoes, right?
So that puts us at 73.
There's a pretty good chance, I think, of hitting 80.
Well, I saw speculation that based on the new game mode they announced, whatever the tournament mode is, where after every round you're forced to select a new character.
I don't think that's something to base a total number on, though.
Well, did you see the reasoning behind that? About how...
Yeah, but it's dumb. Like, they thought it has to be divisible by 3 and 4 and 2. So it'd have to be divisible by 12. So it'd have to be, like, 60 or 72 or 84. Right. Like, I don't follow that logic. Like, I follow the logic, but I don't think that matters. I don't think they're determining their roster based on that mode, and I don't think they were like, oh man, we have a perfectly divisible number by 12. I think we should do a mode that's involves 3 or 4 players because that's what Smash has always done. Like that's dumb.
Well, I'm curious though, because the mode is so dependent on you go through and you fight you basically go through every character. Well, what happens when you get to like the last round? There's not enough. It's like, oh, there's only 2 characters now.
That was the last round then.
But it doesn't make sense though if the whole point of the game is to play every is to go through every character, essentially.
The point of the game isn't to go through every character. The point of the game is to fight until there's no more characters to choose anymore.
Fair,
which would be done. I just don't see be like, we need to add 4 more characters because we don't have a round number.
We don't have a round number.
Like, that's dumb. That's reaching hard.
All right, fair enough. Well, what other game modes have we gotten before we jump into speculation? Because I want to speculate.
There was that mode. There was the tournament mode. There was I don't remember what they call it. I think that the one you were talking about before is called Smashdown, I believe. And then there was one where you choose 3 characters or 5 characters, and after each stock, you change to a different character. Oh, they also showed classic mode.
Right.
And that's like character dependent, which I thought was pretty fun.
We haven't seen anything about target practice, correct? Home run contest?
No, we haven't seen mini games really or events. I hope they do a regular, like a real target practice. I didn't like the weird one they had in the last game where they were hitting that bomb.
No,
it was like a weird Angry Birds thing. Like, I get it. It was like a one size fits all. You could do that with each character, but there wasn't enough variety. Not a fan of that.
No, come on. Yeah, bring back the OG, man.
Bring back Board the Platforms, dude. That was a mode that you probably never played because it was on Smash 64 only.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I have this vague recollection. Describe this to me.
So each character has a specific stage that they are running through, and they're trying to board the platforms. They're trying to land on these platforms and then light up. So it's like an obstacle course, but it's more about the mobility as opposed to knowing your attacks like target practice is. But it's also a timed mode, so you're trying to like beat the best time. But I liked it because it was like a tutorial on how to move around as each character. So like Pikachu had this zigzagging course, and at the very end, you had to like jump up on a platform, jump up on a second platform, like double jump to that platform. And the last one, he had to double jump and then use his quick attack, his up B, twice to get to the final platform. So it's basically like, it was teaching you how to move as each character.
That's a much cleverer way of teaching somebody the game, I think. You know, if you're teaching somebody the nuances of each character, you're incentivizing, reach this goal at the end, right? And it's like, and then if you incentivize it further by doing character or stage unlocks or something, right? I think that's really cool.
I can see why they only did break the targets after that, because there is quite a bit of overlap as far as just navigating around and doing the thing. But I just liked it, okay? It was just a cool thing.
How old were you when Smash 64 came out? Or when you got Smash 64?
I don't know, I probably got Smash 64. I got Melee when it came out, or like a month after because I got it for Christmas. But Smash 64 I would have gotten probably around when it came out also, or the year after. So between 99 and 2000 in that point. So I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Gotcha.
Or 9 or 10 years old, I guess.
So this last game mode, there's been some weird internet speculation, right?
Well, it's not even speculation about the name. They figured that out because of clever video editors and going by frame.
All I saw was that somebody like supposedly, reverse engineered the pixelization.
They literally did that. So whoever edited together the video, they didn't take a static image and edit it and then do that. They took the image in After Effects and shrunk it down to fit the screen. Like, it was started out zoomed in, then like zoomed out.
Right.
So then they put a pixel filter over that one segment of the screen, so it didn't take data outside of the screen. So it had like a weird Gaussian blur on like a few of the bottom pixels. So as it zoomed in, you could see the top of the letter, then the middle of the letter, then the bottom of the letter. And then people went frame by frame and stitched it together, and they could figure out what it said in the English and the Japanese version. So they verified that it's the same in both one.
So I did not know that.
And they got the logo too.
Definitively.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's Spirits?
Yeah, it's Spirits, and it has like a little flame kind of logo.
Okay, so I thought that was just speculation based on, I thought that could have been completely wild out of left field.
Unless they thought that would happen and they like left a red herring, that's the name of the game mode. You don't know what it is based off of that. And we also don't know what the pixelated image is on the sidebar.
Well, I'm curious then, based on that hilarious little intro sequence where Luigi, poor guy,
Oh,
just
man.
gets terrified, absolutely spooked, and then he gets fucking murdered.
Gets murked. He had it coming.
So that seems like a very clear to me then connection to the spirit mode, and I think
I don't know about that. I don't think character intros really have too much weight unless they like have a literal like story mode and they weave it into that. But I also don't think that a story mode would sit on the main menu like that.
you don't think.
No, because it hasn't done that before. It always sits in like there's either like a solo tab that has like classic, adventure, and all-star like it did in Melee, or it's in games and more like it was in the last two games.
I don't know. That seems too.
Past is precedent, my dude.
Nah, I don't know.
Okay?
That seems that could be a coin cost. It's a coin cost. A coin toss.
Coin cost.
How something like that gets determined, right? Like that seems like you could just.
That's fair, but I'm just saying, based on what
Sure.
we've seen before, the Smash for 3DS, that was a Smash Run, and then Smash for Wii U, that was that awful Smash board game thing.
Oh, so yeah, I can't remember the name of it. Garbage.
Yeah, forget it. I don't want to think about it.
Smash Tour.
Oh, I never
I'm
say
so
it out loud.
sorry. Well, I saw some people drawing comparisons between Smash Run on the 3DS had the same green in the icon, right? And then Smash Tour had a lighter green. So people were thinking, oh, this is just going to be Smash Run or an iteration of Smash Run.
I could see that. I mean, they could just call it Spirits.
It seems weird to me. Spirits is such an oddly specific thing.
I just think it would make sense for it to be like, if you open up the game, what is something you would want to jump into right away? And I don't think a story mode really fits that. I think you want to do like your multiplayer, which is Smash, and then a different kind of multiplayer that's sort of adjacent. Like I feel like that makes sense. And then have your gallery and then have your games and more on the right side. Like it's just balanced that way. As all things should be.
This is one of those catch-22s where if we don't get Smash Run, I'm gonna be really pissed. But if that green icon turns out to be just an iteration of Smash Run, I'll be fucking pissed that it's not a Subspace sequel.
I
Right?
liked Smash Run, but I wouldn't be mad if it wasn't there. There was enough about it that I didn't like that could be fixed and improved, and it would be better, but I don't think it would be good, per se. It was just like I think we were just in that warm afterglow of being like, we have Smash Bros. On a handheld, and that's dope, and we're all sitting in a garage playing Smash Run together, but then we don't know if it's a race at the end, or if it's a battle at the end, or if it's a climb to the top thing at the end. Like, the ending mode was bad.
Sure.
And during it, like, it wasn't that fun. So it was kind of like, it was just fun to play Smash Bros, but it wasn't fun to play Smash Run.
I would disagree. I agree. Well, I agree first off that there are things that need to be fixed. Like the ending should always be a battle. But I like the idea of going through this obstacle course and fighting things, and you're building up different buffs or whatever that you're going to take into the final battle. But Smash Run was the only way I played Smash 3DS on my own. I mean, every night I would play that in bed, and I would do 3, 4, 5 Smash runs, and a couple battles, and go to bed. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I never really played it by myself.
Yeah, no, I'd be perfectly happy if they were to improve that and bring it back, and I'll be upset if they don't. But again,
I don't think they would put that on the main screen though, because the Switch is also a console, so it has to be like we're all looking at the same screen.
Right.
I don't think they would do this rote sort of mode where it has like a split screen kind of aspect to it. I think that'd be really weird.
So then hopefully this is it's on the main menu screen, so I think that right there in and of itself implies that this is hopefully something big.
It just has to be better than Smash Tour, for goodness sake.
I mean, that is not even a standard, right? Like anything is better than Smash Tour, so saying it should be better than Smash Tour is like, that's a cop-out. Like, oh great, they did it, guys. It's better than Smash Tour. Like, fucking congratulations.
I mean, they made that one, so if they can mess up that big one time, they can mess up that big 2 time.
Well, at least it wasn't like, hey guys, regular battles have been placed by this board game. Welcome to Animal Crossing. Like, it wasn't like that. They tried something new. It's this weird offshoot. Like, okay, you tried, you failed.
Yeah, I have no speculation or any idea in my mind of what that mode could possibly be.
So I honestly think that intro sequence does tie into whatever this could potentially be. Did they announce, I can't remember now, the fucking Reaper there, Death, right? Is that a boss in Smash Bros? One of the new bosses that they announced?
No, they just showed him as a stage hazard for the Castlevania stage.
Hazard. Okay.
For Dracula's Castle. Same with the mummy and the Frankenstein man and the flea dude. And
okay.
Dracula himself was like... The weird thing, they showed Dracula, but he was a boss for a stage that wasn't the Castlevania stage. It just kind of looked like it. It went on further. It was wider and didn't have the drop down like the real fighting stage had. So I feel like there's going to be some sort of boss attacks either during the single player, or I don't know if it's going to be a fully featured single player, like, well, fully featured, but like how Subspace was, where it had like a story.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's going to be like an adventure mode where you're going to be fighting bosses, because they also showed Rathalos from Monster Hunter, and the stage that he was on wasn't shown in the stage select like breakout that they put on the website. And it's just a flat stage like they've shown. Remember the fight against like Rayquaza in Subspace?
Right.
Like it was like that, where it was just like, this is just a flat stage.
Yeah. No, I think the spirits thing and the whole Luigi in the beginning and the little boss fight with, whether he turns out to be a boss on a stage or strictly a stage hazard, I don't know. But I think it all sort of ties in together. And that's going to be this new mode, right?
That'd be interesting. They haven't done that before with the other character reveals, like with Mega Man and Greninja. Those were just cool things.
Because it's not like they introduced Luigi, right? Like, I know it was a way to introduce the Castlevania characters, right? Where it was like, Luigi gets killed and then the guy comes out to be like, I'm going to save the day. But I just think that was an interesting way to showcase it, and having that spirit. I just feel like it's connected, okay? And
it's all connected.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to go Alex Jones on you here. When all is said and done, we're going to look back at that and be like, I see what they're doing. Like, all these big bad bosses, they're stealing our Smash character spirits, man, and we have to go ghost bust their ass. All right?
I guess there's like a little bit of credence to that, where they've really focused on heroes versus their big bads, their villains.
I think it'd be cool.
We saw that with the introduction of King K. Rool with Donkey and Diddy with their eyes popping out through the glass.
That's nice. Grade A meme material.
But seriously.
So I have new Link and I have Simon Belmont. Are those the only two on my list that have come to fruition so far?
I don't know what either of our lists were. So.
Okay. Oh my goodness. It's somewhere deep in the
I just know that I got
chat.
Ice Climbers.
Fuck.
And then I guessed like 3 different mans. I think I had Bomberman and Rayman, which Bomberman was already shown as an assist trophy, so that was already a flush for me.
I don't know how we're going to find this in a group chat.
Oh, it's going to be far back.
It's deep.
Andrew, I messaged him asking if he remembers what we talked about and if there's anything we should follow up on. And he said that he remembers being adamant about Waluigi being in Smash and that you took his side.
Here's the thing about Andrew. And Andrew, I hope you're listening. If I didn't hear you say it directly, I don't believe it was said. Andrew is an exaggerator, and that sounds like something he's just saying to like spark something. I don't know what. But I don't believe that. Here's the thing. I'm not convinced, okay? I'm not convinced. I think you should be.
The only Waluigi talk I remember specifically was us going over our predictions and Drew predicting it. I remember saying that Waluigi is a sexual predator.
Yes.
And he can't be in Smash because of the law. That's against the law.
So I am in our group chat. I am currently on June 10th. How far back do we go with this?
Our last podcast we posted like June 5th. And that was with Andrew. So that wasn't even our predictions.
So the Smash thing, we did a live pod. Was that one? That was not with Dre. We did a pod before that.
May 2nd.
Oh, Christ. Was that the live pod?
Well, I mean, it was kind of live.
Not the live pod. You know what I mean? Where they were texting us mid-pod and we were...
Yeah, that was the one mid-pod because that was after the Splatoon Direct where they showed that there was going to be a Smash Bros. That was a while ago, my guy.
God damn it. Okay, I'm in May, bud.
Back when we were at our blistering monthly podcast pace.
I feel like every time we get on this podcast, I do this part where I say, every time we get on this podcast, we talk about how, we're going to be regular again. Well, here's the thing. It got to a point where we only recorded when I come up to Portland, make, a couple hour jaunt up north, and you and I get together in person. And, our internet was things,
Hey, man.
Things happen.
To be fair, literally the 2 times I've gone down to your place once a year.
Yep.
For like 3 or 4 day spans where we had all the time in the world to record. And it just never happened.
But you know what? you came down and we hung hard, and Trev and his girl was here, and the fucking dog was here and shit. Like, you know, we had a good time, and I don't regret not recording. All right, I had a good fucking weekend.
But I'm also saying.
I'm just saying.
I've come down twice, 2 times. Both times did not record.
Why don't you come back?
It's not exactly a priority for us because who cares? This is our hobby, all right? Not quitting our day job for this.
It's just a fun thing that we do, and we're doing it. And guess what? I would like to keep doing it and be more consistent about it now, because it's like, listen, we can spend fucking an hour and a half on a Tuesday doing this. You know, I just got to make sure I get it edited and uploaded in a timely fashion. I still also have, I think, Trevor, the Wii Eulogy, and then Max, the fighting game pod.
I thought you already posted the Trevor pod.
Maybe I did. Can you confirm or deny that for me, sir? Guess what? I am coming upon our lists, my friend.
Oh my god. That was a while ago, huh?
Can I edit my Smash character list? No. Oh, this is funny. Guardians of the Galaxy will be fun with no more rockets, said nobody ever. I'm mostly glad Nebula and Gonorrhea are gone. Nick, you fucking guy. What the fuck are you talking about?
You know what I was talking about.
Oh, Gonorrhea. Come on, man. Come on, man. I tell you what. Well, my list is still, we're still not far back enough, all right?
Oh my god. Well, you posted it on May 2nd, so we probably recorded it at like the end of April.
I am now on April 26th.
That sounds reasonable. That's a week before. That's in your frame.
Fuck it, Nick says. Let's get Buck Bumble and Gex in there too.
Yeah. I still hold true to that.
Oh my fucking god, that's hilarious. Who the fuck?
Dude, you probably have Crash in your list, huh? Or Spyro.
I certainly hope I do. And I hope it happens. Like, why wouldn't it happen? Although, I could have swore that fucking Shovel Knight was going to be a character just given the success of that game and their dedication to Nintendo's platform. I swear.
Nothing is a shoo-in when it comes to Sakurai.
No, it didn't happen either. I'm on April 16th, buddy.
It's got to be close. I'm giving you so much credit by saying you're quick when it comes to editing and posting, but we both know that's not true.
That's not true. Hey, buddy, I found the list. So I put... Oh, shit. Okay, here's my list. Simon Belmont, Breath of the Wild Link. Check. 0? Nah. ARMS with palette-swapped characters.
That's never going to happen.
The ARMS characters?
I don't think it's going to happen at this point.
Probably not. Paper Mario.
I also don't think that's going to happen, but it's still possible.
So, Nick, you put Ice Climbers, Decidueye, Banjo, Springman, and Bomberman.
Yeah, Bomberman's already been dunked.
Leaf had ARMS character, Shovel Knight, Crash, Minecraft, Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers is the metaphorical free space, Chris said.
I mean, not completely wrong.
Drew had ARMS character, Rayman, Shovel Knight, Waluigi, and then Dixie or Funky to tie into Tropical Freeze.
I think they would have announced that after showing King K. Rool.
Yeah. Chris had Shovel Knight, Geno, Travis Touchdown. What? How come I don't remember that?
Deep Pull.
Crash and Rayman. So I think I'm going to be probably 2 of 5 on this one, buddy.
I still think it's kind of iffy with Champion Link having a completely different moveset. He's got a different bomb, and that's pretty much it, and a different grab.
I feel like he's going to feel different, especially considering we now have
Everyone's going to feel different because it's a different game.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. No, I think just because we have Young Link now, which is just a fucking clone, right?
Hey, man, his arrows are on fire.
That's super cool. They should all be on fire.
Wait, does Champion Link still have the Gale Boomerang?
Bro, I don't know.
I don't remember if that was a thing. You can pick up his arrows and shoot 2 arrows. That's cool.
What are we moving on to, man? Smash Bros. Is dense, right? But, you know, we're still 4 months out from that, right? A little under 4 months.
That's December.
Fuck, I was really hoping for a demo at the end of that fucking thing, man. Just demo available now.
There probably will be a demo, or like a demo weekend.
Yeah, there will be.
Like they've done with Splatoon and ARMS, and they didn't do that with Kart, but like, they've done that with a lot of other online games.
Well, they did with online games to test the servers because the nature of the games were so vastly different. They needed to make sure that they could, you know, handle the...
ARMS isn't even server-based. It's like peer-to-peer.
Dude,
has to be, right?
I don't know about this fucking science, bro. I don't know. Smash Bros. I feel like it would be more about getting the game out there like they did with the 3DS and Wii U, or with the 3DS rather, than it would be about testing the server or doing a weekend. I feel like they're gonna release a proper demo.
It's their big game for this year. It's gonna sell the most for this year.
Yeah, it'd be smart of them to give us that taste, just a hit. You know what they should do? release a fucking demo and then trickle characters. You know what I mean? One a week, right?
My only problem with them doing a demo is, like, this happened last time where they had unannounced characters, but they released the demo and the demo got data mined and they saw what characters were unreleased.
Whatever. That doesn't bother me.
It kind of bothers me because I like announcements. I like not knowing what's happening.
Sure.
I knew that Simon was coming the night before. I wasn't as excited when it was announced. Not that I really would have been because I'm not, like, invested in Castlevania as a franchise.
Sure.
But if it was like, oh, we've got this like information ahead of time that King K. Rool is going to be announced tomorrow, and then he gets announced, that deflates it, you know?
Sure.
I like a good announcement. I am susceptible to that kind of advertising.
No, I'm all about that, which that's shocking to hear, honestly. But
it's one of the ones.
It's the one. That and anything scratch and sniff, okay?
Let me smell it.
Let me smell it.
Why do you think I like Earthbound so much?
Listen, I don't watch or I don't read that. You know, I was totally fresh going into the direct because I'm not on my gaming subreddit just consuming every ounce of content the night before a direct. I knew better. I stayed away.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's my fault for following Source Gaming on Twitter.
Oh, see, Twitter's the tricky one where it just pops up in your timeline and like, I know I didn't mean to read that.
Yeah.
So they got you.
They got me.
Yeah, that's okay. Whatever. No, I think it'd be the way to generate the most hype would be to give us a demo with like 5 characters, right? Or 8 characters. I don't know what the number, 8 characters, right? So you can do 8-player Smash on the demo, I guess. And then do 1 character a week or 2 characters a month until their game comes out, right? So that people are coming back to that demo now every single week for new content. So you're keeping people engaged with your platform, right? Consistently. People are coming back to know, oh, how's this new character going to play? How's so-and-so going to play? And then the game drops and everyone buys the game. So just giving us a little bit of new stuff that we can get our hands on. Literally everybody would download it and everybody would play it every single week.
They could do like 1 character a day for like 2 months.
That seems a little crazy, Nick. Let's not get carried away, okay?
You're right. They have to be really conservative with how they hype up this game that's so small in scope.
I'm just saying, Nick. I just had a really weird eye twitch.
Yeah, you print screen that eye twitch, boy.
I didn't mean to. I like, literally, my eye twitch right as I hit print screen. Like the fucking keyboard could like freak me out a little bit. I had to get that pose.
That's what caused it.
I feel like I look like a fucking crazy person right now. I feel crazy. Smash makes me crazy. Let's fucking move on. Just do a little house cleaning here, okay?
House cleaning?
A little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's spring cleaning with the Console Crusade podcast.
Housekeeping, house cleaning. Fuck you. Okay. Did I tell you that I pre-ordered the special edition Spiderman PS4 Pro?
I think you did mention that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Do you have a PS4 Pro?
I do have a PS4 Pro.
Okay.
Which I'm going to get rid of when I get this new one, because this new one is gorgeous.
Are you going to get that TCL 4K TV?
What is this? No.
It was the hotness because it's cheap. It's using like a legit panel. It's like a legit LG or Sony panel, but it's like $350 for a 55-inch 4K TV. Oh.
No, I'm just not ready to upgrade to 4K, man. Because none of my stuff will look good on it.
Well, you got that Xbox One. You can get 4K video out of that.
I'm not interested. I don't have the requisite funds to upgrade something I use sparingly, right? Says the guy buying the PS4. But, no, man, that's a beautiful console. $400 gets you the terabyte model with a physical copy of Spider-Man. Like, that's value, bro.
Honestly, the coolest thing about that bundle is the controller.
That's fucking gorgeous. Fucking gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
And to be fair, or to be honest, rather, a lot of the special edition PlayStations have not been really anything to write home about.
Oh, no, not at all. The God of War one was pretty bad. The Monster Hunter one was fine. It was that dark red one.
You know the Darth Vader one, the OG PS4? Not the Battlefront. Not sexy.
Yeah, wasn't it just like weird stickers on the controller too? Like the controller wasn't very good.
No, it just wasted time, wasted money.
Nowhere near as cool as the R2-D2 and C-3PO Xbox 360.
I always wanted that. I mean, just classy, dude. Classy.
Do you see that 500 million?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty good too. That dark blue translucent with the copper emblems and stuff.
Yeah, again, yes. How rare is that going to be? How limited
They made 50,000 of them.
50K.
So
basically, those are all gone. You have no hope of getting one, right?
I don't think pre-orders have even gone up yet.
No.
And it doesn't go on sale until maybe the end of this month, maybe September. I don't know.
For some reason, they launched these things in the UK first, which I always find odd. I don't know, is there a rhyme or reason to it?
Shipping pipelines, stuff like that.
Like, that's the smallest market, right? Like, Japan has to be a bigger market than the UK for a lot of things, I imagine.
Not for Sony, no. Sony doesn't do that well in Japan. They do okay. They've been doing a lot better with this console generation, but PS3 did not sell at all.
I guess I don't mean just for Sony, but just for video games in general. Like, I guess maybe I'm talking out of my ass completely. UK could be huge, but I feel like
Xbox is way bigger in UK than it is in Japan.
Oh, Xbox is non-existent. They've got no platform there whatsoever.
Exactly, they got nothing to stand on in Japan. Sony, I think, their biggest market is the US, then it's the UK, and then it's like everywhere else, and then Japan.
Damn. Okay. Which is weird because they're a Japanese company, and I'm trying to think like some of the franchises they've had and how well.
I think the Switch has already outsold the PS4 lifetime in Japan.
Really?
At this point, yeah, probably.
What the fuck do I know,
close
Nick?
to. I feel like, yeah, PS4 maybe has sold maybe 10 million in Japan, maybe a little bit less. They don't really buy a lot of consoles in Japan. It's mostly handhelds.
Well, the Sony handhelds did really well over there. I mean, the PSP.
Well, I mean, the PS Vita didn't do well anywhere.
Yeah, touche, my friend. Touche. So anyway, yeah, so I ordered that PlayStation. I'm really looking forward to the Spider-Man game. I've been watching every single breakdown video.
You been going that ham on it?
Dude, I've been trying to like figure out every little thing. A couple things I'm excited for. So my first real open world game was Spider-Man 2, right? On PS2. I think that a lot of people could probably say the same. And it was unreasonable how good that game was considering it was a licensed movie title.
Yeah, man, Neversoft killed it.
One of the best things that they did was the web swinging. And everyone's talked about this, right? That it was real-time physics, it was momentum-based, so you're actually swinging, right? Which makes it feel like it's so visceral. You're actually in control of your character, and you're flying through, and you feel like you can really kind of grab Spidey by the balls and do whatever you want, right?
Did you play Spider-Man 1?
I did. I
feel like I remember you playing that with where you're swinging and you're just throwing webs into the sky. Mm-hmm. It's super foggy.
Into the fog,
and you land against a wall and crawl up.
Yeah. So I played Spidey 1, but then Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. Played that one. You know, I'm really disappointed that the new Spider-Man game is not going to have Bruce Campbell narrating.
Yeah, because Sam Raimi with the Bruce Campbell, that's that connection. Spider-Man 2, is that the one that had the symbiote?
Dude, fuck you. Why are you going to be bringing that into our podcast? This is a happy place.
Sorry. No, but that was the one with did it have Rhino in it? I feel like there was like some like variation from the movie because I actually never saw Spider-Man 2, but there was like differences from the movie and like the game, wasn't there?
Huge. You're fighting Mysterio. You're fighting, I think, Electro. Yeah, tons of added things. Doc Ock is still the big bad guy in Spider-Man 2.
Right.
No, the movie with the Venom played by Topher Grace.
That was 3.
That was 3. Yeah, awful.
Hey man, I like Sandman in that movie.
He was really great. He realized and that was initially supposed to be the bad guy, but producers, you need to add Venom, you need to do this, you need to do that, and Sam Raimi had to fuck up his own movie. Although that's still no excuse for the weird emo Spider-Man scene, which I know it's fun to hate on that.
Here's the thing though. So this upcoming Spider-Man, we've got a slew of villains that have been confirmed and been shown in various story trailers and gameplay trailers and what have you. We've got 5 of what is presumably a Sinister Six, with one more mysterious figure, which you can speculate is one of 2 people, basically. But I wanted to get some of your speculations, your vibes, your feelings, your predictions. So we've got Vulture, you got Rhino, you got Shocker, you got Scorpion.
Scorpion, yep.
You got Mr. Negative.
Mr.
And
Negative.
then you've got either Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus. And you've also got Kingpin, who I feel like is going to be, his gangs are going to be the schmucks that you're fighting on street level. But those are like the main bad guys. There's those 5 plus the 6 that they've not announced. You've also got confirmed Miles Morales in the game, but not necessarily playable. And you've also got confirmed Mary Jane, who is playable and has these like weird stealth scenes with like her being a reporter, a photographer for the Bugle.
This is so weird to me. So yeah, Rhino, Vulture, Scorpion, like those are some of the classic characters, right?
Got to be animals. We got to get some animals in there. Animal Planet.
I'm really confused. So Mr. Negative is a relatively new character, from my understanding. Last decade.
You know Spider-Man much more than I do, so
I want to say he's last decade. Like he's
seems like a kind of a C-tier villain that they're kind of pushing up to be like, oh, so you haven't seen this guy very much, so we have more agency over the character, which is cool. I like when video games do that.
His first appearance was 2008. Yeah, Spider-Man 546, which is actually right after I quit reading, actually. But I read Spider-Man. I read the Big Time run a couple years ago, and he was a part of that. So I'm familiar enough with him. But as far as the Sinister Six, obviously it can be Doc, it can be Green Goblin. We have Norman Osborn confirmed.
Yeah, we've seen Oscorp as like a building, but we don't know.
We've seen Osborn, haven't we? Have we not?
I think so.
I think we've
feel
seen
like
him.
I've heard about it. I haven't actually watched too much coverage. I've just heard about what's been shown, not actually watched what's been shown, really.
We've also got like Taskmaster, I can't speak. And then we had Black Cat, who's kind of a
she's like a mercenary, right?
She's a cat burglar. But is she, I don't know if she's not an anti-hero, but she's sort of an antagonist.
I'm not thinking of Black Cat. I'm thinking of what's that girl with the white hair?
Silver Sable.
Is that Black Cat? Silver Sable? Yeah,
Silver
that's
Sable.
what I'm thinking of.
She's also, she's badass.
Is she like a hot MILF?
Yo, dude, I got a mad crush on her, bro.
Nice.
No, we do have Norman Osborn confirmed, which means the Green Goblin has to make an appearance here. It would be weird if we didn't get Green Goblin. It would be weird if we didn't get Doc Ock. Venom seems like too much of a stretch for this game. I feel like
confirmed that there's no symbiote.
Okay, so I feel like the symbiote thing.
That's enough for an entire sequel. Is just symbiote.
Just
stuff.
symbiote. No, absolutely. Give me symbiote with a couple of. Give me the Hobgoblin cameo. Give me the Hobgoblin
Carnage.
Yeah, no, but give me the symbiotes. Give me Venom. Right. Give me classic Eddie Brock. Give me Carnage, and then
one of the 10 other ones. Is there one that's called Havoc? Or am I making that up?
I have no idea. There's
a bunch of random crappy symbiote things.
Post 06 is I quit reading. You know, so I kind of my knowledge after that is murky at best. But so Venom does become anti-Venom. He gets all white and weird and he becomes like a legit hero, right?
Is Spider-Gwen going to be a playable character in this game?
Dude, I don't even know who fucking Spider-Gwen is. I don't know what any of that's about. Gwen Stacy, she's alive again. She's Spider-Man. I don't fucking know. I've seen the cosplays. That's about it. That's it. I don't know anything.
Are we getting like weird variations? Are we getting Spider-Verse?
I'm okay with it.
We've got Miles Morales.
I'm totally okay with it. Totally fine with it. Let's do it. Why not? More Spider-Man, the better. And one of my favorite things growing up and playing those old Spider-Man games is like collecting the outfits, right? So obviously,
is Darth Maul going to be in this game?
Right? On a skateboard. Right?
Yeah. No. So here I am. Doing everything I can.
Fuck. No, give me characters to collect. I want outfits and I want characters, all right? Let me play as all the characters. Totally okay with it. Give me a free roam option where I can be Doc Ock and just fuck shit up. GTA style.
Be Green Goblin, fly around.
Dude, do that. Give that to me.
Do that.
Hey, listen. Are you listening to me, Sony? You sons of bitches. Take note.
You're listening, Insomniac.
Yeah, fuck.
I'm losing sleep over this.
So let me tell you though. I was saying earlier, but I went ham on the analysis videos, trying to determine whether the swinging in the game is going to be up to my fucking standards, and not just my standards of what I know the old game to be, but what I remember the old game to be. That's really what you're aiming for, right?
Yeah, you want to surpass the old game in every possible way because your memory is tainted.
Right. Like my memory of the game evolves with me as my tastes and, you know, sort of the trappings of a modern video game as I get used to those. My memory evolves to adapt to my current video game literature, right? Or not my liter, you know what I'm saying? How I interpret my visual literacy, is that what I'm trying to say?
It's all about context.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
the movement in this game looks pretty great, though. Just the variety of, like, you're swinging, you're running on walls, you're running around buildings. I saw these cool things where you're using basically jumping, like super jumping with the web. You keep your momentum, so you're trying to get as fast as you can. And then you can do cool little tricks. There's stunts.
No, a lot of it looks really exciting, right? But I'm very afraid that a lot of those feel like too quick timey, not quick timey, but too cutscene-y, right? Like it's like, oh, I'm going into an animation now, so I'm basically just spamming A lot or X or whatever it is.
You have to have that feeling of agency. That's what makes games good,
right? Of course, and so that's what I'm worried about. It was some of the people were talking about, okay, when you swing out and you get to the bottom of your swing, it's this weird cutscene that doesn't go with your momentum, and it kind of hitches and throws you off.
It's not physics-based.
Why?
Because if it was physics-based, you'd be like weaving super hard, because it's not realistic to swing in a straight line if you're attached to a building on your right side, you know? Unless he's trapezing with both hands every time, or going into the sky like Spider-Man 1, you know? Like, it's just not real. It can't be realistic.
That's
you don't want it to be realistic. You want to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not real. You know? Come on.
At the end of the day, I don't care what it's like. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
It has to feel better than real. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
It can't be based on physics.
I don't care how realistic or how this or how, as long as it feels good, I'm fine with it.
Yes.
Listen, everything that anyone's had to say about it says this game feels great. They're doing things with the open world better, where it's like, it's not just, okay, now your map opens up and go to any number of these icons, you don't know what they mean, you do these little, it feels natural the way you open the open world, how you progress, and, you know.
There are two concerns I have, two sticking points that I feel like they can fail on.
Okay.
And that is combat and character progression. The combat I've heard compared a lot to the Arkham games, the Batman games, which I never played those games, but I played Shadow of Mordor, which also was compared heavily to the Arkham combat.
That's what it is.
And it was bad. I didn't like the combat at all. It felt really unresponsive. It was one button. It was all context based. It was all context sensitive.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I felt like I didn't have enough agency over my character. It didn't feel good. So I don't like the prospect of that, and I'm hoping that it's not as close to that as I've heard it compared. And also the progression system, it seems like there are these weird little objectives that are kind of randomly thrown at you. We're like, oh, do this web bomb 10 times against enemies. I just don't like that kind of stuff. It's all like weirdly, it's pushing me to play in a way that I don't want to play. I want to be rewarded for playing the way I'm playing, as opposed to push to do other things.
Right.
Like, I want to feel like I'm min-maxing. I feel like I'm breaking the game.
Sure.
Not like shoveled into this weird path that I don't want to follow.
In game design, right? There's a way to sort of funnel you, right? And force you.
And like, I understand the reasoning behind it. I understand encouraging doing a variety of things, but I don't want to be like gated from progress and feeling like I'm getting stronger. Which you don't have to like feel like you're getting stronger, but you have to have. They just don't make games like that really that much anymore, where you have all of your abilities from the get-go and you just are getting better at them. It's more like everything is an RPG, so everything has to be your punches hit for more numbers.
Sure. And I got a fucking motorbike going on my door here.
Boom, boom, boom.
There's a way to, I think, in game design, a way to funnel a player into doing new things without not doing the Zelda way, where they literally force you to because your other options have completely disappeared. Right? I don't think that's good game design.
That's different, because that's not for combat. That's for like puzzle solving. I'm fine with that because it's
no. I mean the weapon system in Zelda, right?
Oh, you mean the new Zelda? I thought you were just talking about Zelda.
Sorry. In Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
I think that is not an effective. It's just, I think it's a lazy way of forcing somebody. So doing that, like you said, where it's like, you know, do 10 web bombs, or like do whatever combo X amount of times to like. That's bullshit, right? Where it should be based on...
At least in Zelda, it wasn't like, get 10 kills with this bow.
Well, that would have fucking pissed me off. But also, this bow is going to break. That would have been
actually bad.
Yeah, well, I think the weapon system is actually fucking bad. But, no, I agree that in Spider-Man, that if that is how they go about character progression, it completely de-incentivizes wanting to play and get better, right?
It just depends on how it's implemented. Like, that's just a concern that I have. I don't know how it's actually done, because I haven't played the game, but that's like... a thing that I'm worried that they can mess up. Because Insomniac is really good at moving around as a character. Like, you played Sunset Overdrive, I watched you play, and Ratchet and Clank is fun to move around in, so they can totally nail that. It's just the trappings and the progression, the combat that I'm more concerned with.
I have a feeling that, I mean, no matter what they do, you're going to hate the combat, Nick. You're a Souls guy, I think, through and through, right? Where you're used to having all this control.
I liked Zelda. That was fine combat. I liked that. I felt like I had agency over my character.
you have punch, you're gonna have kick, you're gonna have dodge.
That's already 3 times as many button inputs as you have in Shadow of Mordor, so...
I'm trying to think. I played and really enjoyed Shadow of Mordor, to be honest. I enjoyed the shit out of that game. Was it literally you had attack and you had
an attack
parry?
button and a dodge button, I think.
That's it?
Dodge or parry, yeah.
I swear that you had a light and a heavy on your triggers, and then you had your dodge on, like, B or something.
No, your attack was X on the Xbox controller.
Okay. Well, that's definitely Arkham Combat, and so if that's what this game's doing, then, you know, I don't think it's going to take away from me. It's not particularly interesting. It's the Assassin's Creed thing, right? You go in and you're spamming one button.
It just depends on the emphasis on that in the gameplay, you know? If you're Spider-Man, I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of webbing around. The QuickTime events don't, like, interest me, but they're kind of it's fine for, like, a set piece. Like, I wasn't really put off by that in God of War. There was some very heavy QuickTime event kind of cutscene things. That's fine. That's a staple for the series.
Yeah.
But in Spider-Man, that didn't seem too egregious. That was a really long one that they showed at, what was it, E3 last year? And I was like, oh, no. They showed way too much cutscene.
Yeah.
Quick time for that.
I think as far as the character progression system goes, though, like, you're going to get experience points for completing missions and for X amount of enemies killed, right? Like, it's going to be more of a traditional, like, you're going to be able to play however you want, and if you're moving through the game, your character's going to progress. So they're not going to be weird, you know, niche incentives to try to unlock new abilities. At least I hope not. But that would strike me as odd. That seems like such a dated way to do it. If you want to build this side of the tree, your skill tree, you have to use those skills, right?
In a lot of the games that I've seen it implemented in, it seems like it's buried in a menu system where you don't even know what you're trying to do. It's just, it sort of happens sometimes. You're like, I guess I did enough things to do the thing to get the thing. And it's like, that's not a goal that I'm searching to attain. It's just a thing flashing in the corner that pops up every now and then.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's just something that I'm keeping an eye out for, I guess.
I'm excited for it either way, and I will be taking a day off work when that game drops.
That's my guy. That's a month away, dude. That's like 3 weeks away.
Yeah. I'm excited,
That's what,
man.
September 7th?
Yeah. And then we're going to have that, and then we're going to have Spyro, which I'm so excited about. Honestly, I just can't wait to dive into Ripto's Rage, dude. I'm going to fucking just blow through that game. God, I love that game so much.
You see that Spyro... Only the first game is on the disc and everything else has to be downloaded?
You know, so I did see that, and it irked me. I fucking hate that.
That's a principle of the matter.
It's the principle of the goddamn matter. That is right, Nick.
But it's weird, though, because it's not like there are 3 games on one disc. It's the trilogy. But was it like they didn't get those games like polished up in time for certification, and they just submitted the first one and everything else is like day 1 DLC? I just don't understand...
Right.
Or like a day 1 patch. Like that's just a weird thing. Why is it not on Switch?
Well, it will be. It will be. Right?
Will it?
It will be. They probably wanted to wait to see how Crash did before committing to Switch, and in 6 months we'll get a Switch announcement.
Will it?
Yes. If Crash did well.
I think it will too. But dude, Spyro is Crash was like they kept the size down, but Spyro is like a 60 gigabyte game.
Oh fuck, dude.
For the trilogy, it's like it's big. I don't know exactly how big it is, but it's like it's bigger than the Switch hard drive, which clearly isn't too hard to surpass. But come on, Spyro doesn't have to be over 32 gigabytes. That's weird.
How fucking big is Breath of the Wild? 14 gigs?
10?
I mean, my God, man.
10 or 11, I think. Yeah.
Optimization. Ever heard of it? I lost.
Ever heard of it?
I lost my train of thought.
Talking about September, talking about Spyro being stoked for Ripto's Rage.
Somebody tweeted at one of the, I don't know if it was the developer or somebody, and he basically said, sorry, this is a misunderstanding, and basically was like, all the games will be on the disc. There'll just be a day 1 patch or something. So it's less clear than it was based on the fine print on the, you know, game case.
Well, it's on the website.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see the developer tweeting about it. I feel like that still doesn't clear anything up. Because, yes, all the games will be available, but you're still going to be doing a day 1 patch that's like 20 gigs and downloading the rest of the games.
Right.
So that's like a weird... It's just a weird thing.
It is frustrating. And for me, I know a lot of people, their argument is, well, some people don't have access to good internet. Oh, this is, you know, I have a data cap. It's like, that's the issue. For me, it's not the internet. Like, whatever, I can download whatever I need to, whenever I need to. But for me, it's always, what happens when these servers go down and I can't download the patch? Or I can't download these games, right? I want to have a a copy of this game that I physically that I can just pop in on any console and play.
You gotta wait till 2020 when they put out the Spyro Trilogy Game of the Year edition, man.
Right? Well, no, honestly though, I think to myself, well, even if all 3 games were on a disc, and something would happen to the servers and the games weren't available, hypothetically, whatever, I can always pop in my day 1 copy. You're getting a day 1 copy of a game. Even if all 3 games are on the disc, you're still going to have patches. And a day 1 copy of a game, that ships after it's gone gold is nothing like the game that you're actually playing on day 1.
Which is why I think it's dumb that games can go gold before being fully done. Like, I feel like they've lowered the standards because they can do day 1 patches. People saying, patches are a good thing because there were broken games on the Super Nintendo. It's like, well, they had a stricter certification because they couldn't patch them. So that's just, it's dumb. Also, it's messed up.
This is also something we've talked about, though, is games take longer to develop now than they ever have before, right?
Right, yeah, they're bigger. They're getting better games.
They need to have the game out by, whatever the date is to hit their shipping or their manufacturing and shipping dates, right? So it's like, I understand that if you have to ship it out and it's not completely finished and you still have 3 months to work on it.
They're spending more money to make these games. It's a bigger risk. Investors are more involved. They're making way more money. It's just spiraled out. It's just grown so much.
Yeah.
Just in the past 10 years even. Do you see that one of the chief operating officers, or I can't remember Patrick Soderlund of EA just left EA?
Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I don't know. He was a guy. He was the guy at the Nintendo Switch January event last year. The giant man who has a son named Luigi.
The weird man. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was paid $48 million last year by EA, and $20 million of it was bonuses, basically like as an incentive to try and keep him.
Wow.
From like leaving the company, and he just left the company like this week.
Bro, why would you leave any company tossing millions of dollars your way like that? What else is he gonna do?
That's anyone's guess. I'm thinking that it might be he's joining up at Microsoft's new studio because they're hiring a bunch of people. Or maybe he's just like being sniped off by Google because they're trying to get into the console game. Like, it's anyone's guess.
Bro,
I'll hear about it in a month.
If I made $40 million, I would quit everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. Like, I ain't fucking going. I ain't working for a big company. There's so many things in this life that you can do to enjoy yourself after you've made that kind of money and never have to work again. I'm not going to go wear a fucking suit and tie and go answer to a bunch of fucking other suits while I play fucking Puppet Master with a bunch of dweebs and ties, beneath. Dude, I'm going on fucking vacation, bro. I'm making some shit in my underwear, man. $40 million?
Yeah, I think he was from DICE, and I think he stuck with DICE, but it's like, I don't know, man. I don't understand giant companies like that, where you're working at one company, but it's also owned by another company, and you're working at that company too. It's just it's a big mess. But he made more money than the CEO of EA.
Wow.
I don't know how these decisions get made, and I don't know where this weird man is going, but it's just like, that's just a thing. This man made $48 million, and I feel like the entire video game industry was worth that 20 years ago.
Right? Dude, I'd be terrified if a company had paid me $48 million in a bid to keep me. I would be terrified that leaving would result in my assassination. There's so much fucking cash floating around in the ether here.
Well, I mean, it was $48 million worth of stuff. I don't know how much of it was actually money, but it's like stocks and all these kind of equities,
That's just a lot for anyone to invest and to spurn them. There's some billionaire somewhere being like, yeah, fucking, he's next on the list, that son of a bitch. Rich people are fucked up, man. They're all sociopaths.
Yeah, he's got a mark on his head.
And we can do all that kind of... It's just that... You see, I'd be like... If someone gave me $48 million, I would do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah, but if you were someone who was worth $48 million, you would also be a sociopath, so...
Fair.
There you go.
I mean, I am worth like negative... I don't know how many thousands right now, and I am still a sociopath.
That's a smaller negative number than it was last year. Or 2 years ago.
Is it, though?
You climbing out? You doing okay? You want to talk about it?
I am making more money than I ever made before, and yet I'm still somehow as broke as I've ever been.
Thank you, student loans and medical debt.
Yep. Well, let's move on here. I want to talk about one last thing here before we go, just because it was big in our sphere, right? And it's something that I followed.
I think it was pretty big in everyone's sphere. Anyone's like invested in video game coverage. I feel like this is a thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. When I say our sphere, I mean video games, right?
I wanted to specify that it wasn't just like, you and me and our chucklehead friends.
Oh, fair. Obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast of all the other game-related podcasts, you've absolutely heard about the Philip Mewson IGN plagiarism allegations, as he called them, as I air quote the allegations. Okay, so to recap, IGN releases a review for Dead Cells, a motion twin game. Which has been out already for like a year. Like you mentioned earlier, it
was on early access for PC.
Right.
I think it was a Kickstarter game too. I'm not entirely sure, but
it's soft launched
feels like that.
A year or maybe a little more than that ago, right?
I think it was a little bit more than a year ago. I feel like it was beginning of last summer that I played it.
So it's officially released. A YouTube reviewer by the name of Boomstick, is that right? Is that Boomstick?
Boomstick Gaming, yeah.
Posted this video saying, IGN plagiarized my Dead Cells reviews, help, what do I do? And this is now, I mean, it's got, I think, 2 million views on that video.
I didn't even check that.
Yeah.
Last time I saw it was like because it showed up in my recommended views.
Right.
On YouTube. So like, I feel like that got to a lot of people via the YouTube algorithm because it got shared on Reddit. It was everywhere,
Right.
A big kerfuffle.
Let me pull this up here. I want to know what
the view count is as of the 14th of August.
Yeah, I wonder if he took the video down. Oh, no. It's got 1.2 million views.
That's still a lot for a channel that had he had 10,000 subscribers last I checked.
Yeah, I mean 11,000 I think. And some of his videos have sub 1,000 views, right?
Right.
And some of his he does really well based on the content, right? Some of his Monster Hunter stuff, his Dark Souls stuff, 100,000 views, 200,000 views.
Yeah, get those niche audiences.
It's so weird. So his Monster Hunter World Tips Guide, he does one that's all 14 weapon playstyles. That's got 1.8 million views.
That shows that's SEO. That's a niche audience. Those are the type of videos that get the clicks.
The internet catches wind of this, compares the work. It's very clearly not just derivative, right? It's clearly the guy, word for word, paragraph for paragraph, went through and then rearranged each sentence, took out the big words he didn't quite understand, right?
Yeah, thesaurus style.
Right. He reverse engineered using a thesaurus how to make this sound dumber, which I've never seen anybody do. You plagiarize something and you somehow make it sound fucking worse.
You want to be fast and fluid with your plagiarism.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Everybody does that.
Quick and wet.
No, so a couple takeaways from this, you fucking goob. So, first of all, IGN, I think, reacted appropriately. IGN used to be the big bad of the gaming industry, right? Everyone hated IGN.
They still do.
Which I don't get. I think IGN, there are a lot of really great personalities over there, a lot of really great, talented writers.
Dude, when you're at the top of the mountain, everyone's going to throw stones. That's just the way it works.
I guess it's true. But, there's some of my favorite people in the games media. I mean, Per Schneider is just a fucking treasure.
Per's a gem.
I mean, come on, man. Per fucking
Can you imagine
Schneider.
how many people would leave that company if he left?
I mean, Per Schneider is the glue that keeps it together, man.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So, they took it down. They released this thing saying, we're investigating this. We take this very seriously. I love that. When a company, instead of coming out and saying, oh, we're reviewing it, but blah, 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 we make excuses. No, they came out and said, this is not okay. We'll investigate it. And then the next day they fired him.
I don't know when that comparison video, I don't know when Boomstick posted that, but I remember seeing it catch traction that night after the embargo lifted. It was 8 or 9 o'clock.
Right.
So it's not like anyone was at work, tending the fires. It was just I saw in the Reddit thread, the reviews editor, Dan Stapleton, was he commented in the thread, yeah, I know. It was clearly he's everything's on fire and I have to go through and check this work out, and this puts into question all of his past reviews.
Yep.
And I don't know, it was a big thing. And then obviously there's the Kotaku article that Jason Schreier posted that night.
Schreier, listen.
Schreidog just on it.
So let me get through the rest of this here, and then we'll kind of break this down, because there are a few things I want to say about it, and I feel vindicated in some ways, and I feel, I don't know, obviously this is a frustrating situation, because now obviously his other reviews have been called into question, right? And they found similarities in 3 other reviews going back to his YouTube channel.
Yeah, the ones I saw, if you want to get specific, I saw that he had copied from an Engadget review,
right,
a Nintendo Life review, and even some stuff from like Wikipedia and like not even reviews, but like news stories and stuff like that.
When you plagiarize something like this, right? This is not
It's
the
not a
first
one-time
time.
thing. It's not
No,
a first thing. Yeah.
This is he's absolutely done it. So a couple things here. First of all, I forgot. He released a response video. That I gotta get that out before. I'm assuming you watched it before it got taken down.
No, I didn't watch it. I didn't want to. It's so cringy. I couldn't even watch. I didn't watch any of his channel before he got hired. It was unwatchable for me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you're not a YouTube guy, right? You don't consume that kind of content anyway. But
Not generally, no. There's a few like exceptions, obviously, but like that's not really my style.
right. So he released a video saying, again, he addressed quote unquote the IGN plagiarism allegations, and he did this really weird non-apology where he said he said, "I'm really sorry, but this is a misunderstanding, and I take full responsibility for this, but this is a misunderstanding. I didn't intentionally do it. I'm sorry. I take responsibility. It was unintentional." Doesn't make fucking sense.
I saw some like people like basically like transcribing it, and he like gave props to Boomstick but didn't apologize to them for like stealing his work. Like, good job, you did my work.
Well, he was basically like, oh, dude, that was the worst part. That fucking set me off, dude. So, because I tweeted about it, and I probably said some bad things that if I ever run for political office, this will definitely fuck me over. Well, I basically was like, I think I called him a cunt or something. Pardon my language, but I mean, he comes out with this non-apology. He monetizes the video knowing it's going to get a fuck ton of views. He completely denies any actual, he doesn't take any responsibility. I'm just like, dude, fuck this guy. So, yeah, the apology is basically that. I'm sorry, but I didn't do anything. And then he calls out Jason Schreier. Oh, that's so not the case. Like, I dare you to find other examples. I dare you. So he fucking did. Finds 4 examples. I fucking dare you.
Yeah.
And then, he's like, Boomstick. It wasn't just like he gave him weird advice. He was like, Boomstick, man, you're doing really great. You just keep doing what you're doing, and you are going to make it, man. Like, it was so weird. It was pathological, man. It was so cringy. It was hard for me to watch, and it made me fucking mad. Of course, later that night, or early the next morning, he deleted the video. I'm assuming not just because of the backlash. I'm assuming legally he probably can't talk. He probably breached some sort of contract with IGN by posting that video.
Potentially, yeah. That's really messy. When I don't know if they have that in their contracts when they hire, like having the. It's just really messy to fire a person, and like what a severance was and like all this kind of stuff. Like, was he promised a certain period of work and all this kind of stuff?
Well,
it's really bizarre.
If you're fired for a cause, I mean, there's nothing. You're gone. I mean, you've got no legal ground, right? So there's nothing. There's probably no severance. It's just you're gone and your contract's terminated because you breached the the terms of the agreement, right?
Yeah.
So a couple things now that we kind of recapped that. Not that anyone needed it, right? But so I followed Philip going back probably 18 months ago, maybe
like Switch launch, because that's what I remember him like getting big over.
Yeah.
Or like when he was picked for NVC. And like being the Nintendo editor, I remember like comments being like, "Oh yeah, this is like his past. Like he was a YouTuber. He got most of his notoriety because he got like a few Switches early and did like a giveaway, and that's how he got a lot of followers and that kind of stuff. Typical YouTube stuff,
right?
In my opinion.
It's kind of funny though how things happen for him because it happened so quickly. I remember literally finding him when he had like 1,000 followers. I mean, it was literally nobody. And what I really liked about him was that the production value of his videos was really high. He had great camera work, and he had these really cool transitions, and he was a flashy editor, and as a video editor, I kind of appreciated some of the stuff he did. Of course, to speak more to that.
Was it a million jump cuts between each breath?
Fucking YouTube status. So, we corresponded on Twitter via DMs back in October 2017.
That was before he got hired, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well before, I believe.
He got hired not well before. He got hired like November, I think.
No, he got hired in 2018, didn't he?
No, he got hired last year.
Oh, wow.
His first MVC, I think, was November, so I would imagine he got hired like a week before that. I went back and I looked.
You are right, because
found his first MVC.
So we corresponded over some video editing stuff, actually. Basically, he asked me what I edited with, and we were talking about some VFX stuff, and I was curious about some of the stuff he did in his videos. And so he sent me some stuff. He was like, "Hey, wish I could, blah, blah, blah." And I just said, Appreciate the help, blah, blah, blah. Keep kicking ass. That was 10/17/17. And he got hired right after this because I remember going back to like type him a message and be like, hey man, congrats. And then I didn't do it. We talked.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know the guy.
That's
I don't care. But it was cool because I'd seen him going back a year, right? I'd seen him since the Switch launch and had followed his stuff and then whatever. So, and I liked him. I liked his YouTube channel fine, right? As soon as he got hired at IGN, absolutely couldn't stand his shit.
Yeah, kind of pulled back the curtain a little bit. He seemed like he was a lot better at scripted stuff than he would be at actually having a real conversation.
No, I mean, it's easy to script stuff when you're just lifting other people's scripts, right?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah, he was fucking great at that. Anyone could do that, right?
No, I mean actually like performing and like doing the read.
Yeah, and I think he did fine. And like I said, I'm still subscribed to his YouTube channel. Probably shouldn't be at this point, but
will he post again? Like, what is he gonna do?
You know, I think there are much bigger examples of people, you know, in bigger industries plagiarizing and then bouncing back with a vengeance.
I can't think of any. It's just
I'm really bad at names, but Colin Moriarty was talking about, you know, there's somebody big, and I think maybe it was a historian or a philosopher, plagiarized this huge thing and then came out like 4 or 5 years later and had like a best-selling book based on this research or whatever. And maybe that's like a niche example, right? Or like it's a one-off kind of thing, but like
that sounds like a one-off, and I don't know. In that example, was it like a history of plagiarism? Because it's become very clear that this person has not like earned. He didn't earn a station, and there's many examples of him plagiarizing everyone.
Yeah, he just fucked his life up. I mean, he's not going to be able to go anywhere and get a job. People are going to Google Philip Mewson, and it's going to be fucking, you know, his honesty, integrity, his professional.
He's not going to write anything.
No, he won't be in this industry.
I mean, he could come back on YouTube. I mean, PewDiePie's still on YouTube.
You know, he could come back on YouTube because, you know, going through the comments in that video, none of them were negative. Everyone was saying, hey, we believe you that it was a misunderstanding.
Those are two completely different buckets. People who like follow like IGN and Kotaku and like game journalists, quote unquote.
Yeah. And
then people who follow like YouTubers. Like that's just a very different kind of community.
Maybe just because I consume both kinds of content and I follow all these people kind of independently of their, you know, their bubble, right? I look at the facts and say, oh, this guy fucking plagiarized. What a smarmy piece of shit. Like, I'm not going to watch him anymore. That people would so blindly be like, oh, no worries, we understand, it was a mistake. And I'm wondering to myself, do people really not understand that plagiarism is not copying something word for word? That's not what plagiarism is. Plagiarism is presenting someone else's idea as one's own. So by reading another person's review and transcribing it slightly differently is fucking plagiarism. It is dishonest. And here's the thing. As someone who, as a young man, plagiarized a thing or two, you know, that's how I got through a lot of my courses way back in the day, right? Who didn't copy somebody's homework in high school, right? So I get the temptation to do it, right? I understand that. It's the easy way out, right? But when it comes to something on such a scale, and at this age, being a grown-ass man, knowing that...
With a kid.
Does he have a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's why they sent him to New York for the Labo coverage. They sent him and his kid.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yep.
Yikes. Just knowing the stakes personally, not to speak of what would happen if you get caught, right? And how that impacts the company and all these innocent people who are going to be dealing with this for years. Every single video IGN releases in the next fucking 5 years, someone's going to fucking make some smart comment about plagiarism. And it's not fair to a lot of really great people and a lot of, you know, solid professionals who this is how they make their living are not going to have to deal with this and suffer the consequences for this smarmy asshole's actions. But personally, it's like, dude, you have the dream job that you got because you started making videos in your underwear. You literally won the fucking lottery, bro. And in 12 months, you go from being nobody to starting a YouTube channel to being the fucking Nintendo editor at the biggest game outlet ever.
It's a very foolish thing that he did. Definitely just lit his job on fire.
Bro, that sucks, man. It fucking sucks. You're a fucking idiot.
That's super shitty. All over reviews, which you don't have to be a good writer to write a review. It's not like you have to do a bunch of research. he did too much research. Clearly, he was looking at other people's work. Like, just write your thoughts on, like, is it good? Are you having fun?
This is also a state of mind, or I don't know, it's something I'm familiar with. And I get this way oftentimes, even when you and I talk about things, and you're talking about a game I don't know, and I'm trying to like, oh, how do I have a conversation about something, you know, I don't know enough about X type of game or this genre to like have a nuanced conversation about it. So you kind of have to bullshit your way through, or you ask a lot of questions. I think this guy, you know, he showed time and time again on the podcast, which I quit listening to MVC maybe 3 episodes into Philip. I didn't listen to a single entire episode after Philip signed on, and I didn't listen to a full episode until this week when Philip was gone. Okay? Which sucks because MVC was one of my favorite podcasts. I love Nintendo, and I love Per Schneider. I loved Jose Otero. I fucking missed that guy. That guy was fucking great. The internet hated him. Don't know why. Thought he was awesome.
I was mixed on Jose, but that's just a personal opinion. You know?
Sure. But I mean, at least Jose was a good guy who loved what he did, and he was
a very competent host, at least, and that was very clear that once they had Philip, that he wasn't very good at hosting.
No.
He wasn't very good at like directing the conversation, and that becomes a very apparent thing when you have a panel of 4 people week after week, and there wasn't really much improvement being shown.
Right, especially an all-star fucking panel, right? When you get some of the guys up there, you know, Brian Altano especially is just like, you know,
very gregarious fellow, very good at doing a podcast.
Yeah, and I wish he would just host NBC going forward. But anyway, I digress. Philip showed on on NBC Weekly that he had no opinions. He didn't know enough about the job he was doing, about the hobby he supposedly was so passionate about. He didn't know anything. So he didn't have anything to contribute. He couldn't sit there and have a conversation about, this is why I like this game, this is why I don't like this game, or I had fun playing it. He was a fucking airhead, man. And so when he goes to write the review, he's like,
very, very milquetoast was the kind of vibe I got.
Yes.
I didn't want to like, I had a hard time being hard on him as far as like forming an opinion on him right away, because I try to put myself in that position. Like, imagine if I had like blown up over 6 months on YouTube and then got hired by the largest gaming outlet in the world and had to host their live podcast. Like, I would probably be not very good at hosting either, and I didn't know. Like, that's a tough thing to try and imagine. But like you said, he didn't have an opinion on anything, and that stayed the same throughout his entire tenure there. And there are very few examples of him like relaxing and becoming like a person.
Right.
And whenever that happened, I was like, oh my God, finally they're having like a regular conversation, and not like him being really bad at transitioning between things and corralling the people back on topic or what have you.
Right.
And even when he was giving impressions on like previews of a review that he had posted, or like him talking about Doom, and like he's like, oh yeah, you know, it was really great, and like, no, it wasn't great. You gave it a 7. You can't say great. Great's 8. And like, oh, well, blah, blah, you know, like, because they have like their what do you call that? Their rubric for their reviews, and they try to follow, and they're trying to like keep it on the line, like just to keep the conversation legitimate. Because it's really easy to talk crap about a game that you liked, and it's really easy to like make it sound like you hate a game when you actually scored it a different way based on the actual qualities that it has.
Right.
But he was just really bad at talking about games, and he would regurgitate kind of the same sort of phrasing a lot.
Same fucking platitudes that just didn't mean anything. I was perfectly happy to see that he's gone. It sucks that he's taken a bunch of people, not down with him, but impacting as many people as he is on his fucking, as he fucking Hindenburgs his way out of the industry, you know? So it's a bummer, but I feel vindicated that, hey man, I haven't liked this guy all year, and it just goes to show that he is now definitively proven that he has no fucking opinion. He's not capable of forming an opinion and being a competent professional in this industry. And so, you know what? Good riddance. I hope it's the last we fucking hear of him. And, you know, shouts to NVC. Hopefully they, you know, they find a new host and we don't ever have to worry about this kind of bullshit again. So that was a real controversy, right? It wasn't fucking Gamergate. It wasn't fucking Colin Moriarty shitting all over himself.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw any other, like, I saw some other stuff just on Twitter and seeing people interacting with each other, but like there was Boomstick, he was in the mentions for like Colin posting about it, I think, and it was like, I don't really want the guy to be fired. I just want him like to apologize and to like give credit where credit's due. So like even he was like, this isn't me like raising my pitchfork. Like he was very, I'll let the internet do that. That's fine. So I thought that was very honorable of him to have that stance and not be like super indignant about it. Just be like, yo, just can I get credit? This happened. Just letting everyone know that this happened.
So I'm going to take a page out of Mr. Durheim's playbook here and say, I don't think that true altruism exists, right?
Oh, he already got the benefit of, like you said, he had 1.2 million views on that video.
No, I'm saying, I think this guy is a very intelligent individual, and that was a very calculated response on his part. Knowing that he got the traction already, knowing that Philip was about to lose his job, knowing the shitstorm that he caused.
Clearly, it's a smart move, but people also make dumb moves. You know, he could easily be like a dirtbag and be like, yo, where's mine? Let's take this guy down.
Sure. I think, based on the verbiage in his initial post, I think that if this had gained, little traction, I think his response would have grown.
You keep pounding the walls, you keep shaking the cage.
Well, all that remains reference. I love it.
But also, there was another thing that I saw in the Twitter mentions of Jason Schreier from either the initial article or like one of his follow-ups. But basically, it was like him talking about like this guy getting a very highly sought after position at the biggest gaming outlet, being the Nintendo editor.
Right.
During like a high point in Nintendo's like coverage. And in the mentions, Alana Pierce, who also just left IGN recently, said that they had contacted other people, but their offer for their payment was not high enough. So they're not offering enough money to certain people, or either that or like they're trying to like snipe people from other outlets or like that kind of stuff.
IGN is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also it's like they're based in San Francisco. That is an expensive place to live.
Yeah.
Like top 2 in the country. The cost of living is extremely high there all around. So you got to pay them very well.
I don't know how they operate there. Like you could offer somebody $80K a year, and you're
not
poor.
enough.
You're poor.
Yeah.
You have 4 roommates and you're living on fucking Top Ramen at $80,000 a year. How fucked up is that? So that makes perfect sense to me. Is they're probably offering. Philip probably made $40,000 a year, right? Which
no, has to be more than that. You couldn't pay rent on $40,000 a year in San Francisco.
How fucked up is that, dude? That's so fucked up.
Like the average rent is like $4,000, like a person.
That's insane.
So like that's like $50K in rent right there.
That's unbelievable, man.
Unless you want to live like a county over.
Well, that's what a lot of people do.
Have a 2-hour commute,
They have a commute and they've got fucking roommates, and that's, but I just feel like a guy like that's not making, it's also why they went and found a nobody from YouTube. They show him 4 or 5K or 40 or 50K and he's all over that, right? If they really wanted experience, I just think by hiring him, it was more about saving money than it was keeping that brand strong.
They're not going to make that mistake twice.
Just, you know what? I know Pear's got a lot going on. Just make him he needs to run the Nintendo things. I know he can't, but that's my dream.
Yeah. They want to have a dedicated person, and that makes sense. Like, I don't think they have a dedicated Sony person, but at least they have like a usual like host for their podcasts, and I don't really like pay attention to their reviews that much, but it makes sense for them to have like a guy
right
for each of the platforms. At least like primarily I think Nintendo sticks out for that because they have so many first party games that people like really, really care about.
Right.
Sony does also, but you can kind of shop that out a little bit more.
Well,
I don't know. It's interesting. I don't really need to speculate on how IGN should run their business. They're clearly a giant corporation that's owned by another giant corporation.
Right.
So
I think what interests me is just now as I am sort of part of a growing company in my own industry, right? And I'm right there pretty much behind the scenes seeing how a company like this is sort of run. And so it's just interesting to me to know kind of
seeing the parallels,
the positives and the negatives. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a dark side and there's a reason. Oh, now when I see some of these things happening, and not the plagiarism thing necessarily, but just some, like Alana leaving, and just, I don't know, some of these things, I get it now on a level I didn't understand, not having been a part of that infrastructure, and been privy to the decision making that. So obviously on a much smaller scale than something like that.
And not to mention all these like people are very public and like forward facing personalities. Like they're
right.
who they are is their job also.
Right.
Not just what they do.
Yeah. So it's interesting just to see and knowing kind of probably what's happening behind the scenes to cause all this turmoil and, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But, that was our drama for the week. There'll be something new next week, I'm sure. Inevitably this week we'll hear something new, But anyway, I think that's going to do it for the pod. We've been talking for about 2 hours.
Yeah, we've done a good job.
We're
pretty good at this. Having a conversation.
We're doing okay.
Having a talk.
So this week, I am tentatively, I'm going to cut this out if it doesn't happen. I'm going to have a buddy of mine on. We're probably just going to stay late at work one night and just hammer out. He wants to talk Red Dead really badly, and I think, that'd be cool to talk shit about some Red Dead. He's a huge Rockstar guy. I mean, his first GTA was his first game he ever bought on his own, and Red Dead's one of his favorite games ever, and, I actually just loaned him my Xbone so he could go. He went out and bought a copy of Red Dead so he could, download and play on the Xbox
backwards
One.
Compatibility, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think we're going to do that. And then you and I are going to record again, hopefully Saturday night. I'll be up in town filming a little shindig.
That'd be cool. That'd be nice.
And we can just get together afterward and, bang it out. Although, provided we have something new to talk about in 5 days.
Well, I mean, we also didn't even touch on what we've been playing.
Holy shit. We can do a whole podcast based on that.
Yeah, probably.
By Saturday, I'll have played more than just Skyrim.
I don't believe you.
Maybe. Well, that's a story for Saturday, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This has been the old Constant Crusade podcast. We came. We saw. There's a big old Godzilla on your fucking thing right behind you.
That was my Godzilla.
That's the thing. It's right next to a hand-painted Mario Nutcracker.
Yeah, they're both GIFs.
Right. I recognize both of them. I've been staring at it the whole time and not realizing that's just a giant fucking Godzilla sitting up there.
Also got my Breath of the Wild map there too.
I see that. I remember how many hours got poured into that thing back and forth between the two of us trying to dial things in.
I still appreciate you for that border. That border, primo. The outlines.
So, okay, so for context, as we don't wrap up the pod, apparently, last year, after Breath of the Wild, Nick, you spent a ton of time making a very, very high-resolution, custom Breath of the Wild game map, right? And I think what you did you literally screenshot and stitch screenshots from the game together?
No, I had you do that to get the outlines border of each of the regions.
Right.
But I already had a high-res, ripped from the game.
Okay. And you went through and made your own custom icons so that you could place just the specific icons that you wanted, like fountains, shrines, what else? Towers. Okay.
Yeah, and then I labeled the towns and the regions.
Yeah, god dang, man. That was a lot of work. That was when, I think before we started the podcast, but we were Skyping every day while we both kind of just worked on our own things and talked shit.
We had the podcast. We recorded our first podcast at the end of 2016. We just never posted that.
You're right. Dude, we've been doing this podcast for over a year. We're only 28 episodes in. 28 official episodes in. That number is probably closer to 35 episodes.
Oh, yeah. We've recorded way more than we've posted.
It is what it is. But anyway.
Our first podcast was January 4th of 2017.
Official podcast, yeah. But I think we recorded, as early as August was the first one we did on Skype, and then you came down in October, maybe. We did the live
I think
one.
it was after everyone had moved out of my old place, and it was that was September or October.
That's when you came down to me, right? But no, because I have pictures, Nick, of you. Remember that pizza reveal? You just had 2 pizzas in the bed, and you scooted back, and there's 2 full pizzas on the bed. I have a picture of that. That was when we were still, we were chatting, and we had anyway, whatever. It's been a long time. We're here. We're keeping it going. And you know what? I may be living in Portland again full time, working up there. If that
happens, we have no excuse.
Zero excuse. If I move to Portland, Nick, I don't know where I'm going to live yet, but my goal is to be somewhere where I can have myself a little studio and an office space, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll just, the man cave, the studio, the office space, separate entities. I don't know how this is feasible. Portland rent is fucking ridiculous.
The cave and the studio's got to be all in one. 2 facets of the same gem.
Well, maybe the office and the cave, and then I'll make the old the garage, the studio, all my gear, a green screen, a light setup.
Your electric drum kit.
My electric kit, which maybe this is for Saturday. It's for Saturday. I'm hitting my mic. We'll talk about this Saturday. Anyway, this has been the Console Motherfucking Crusade. We're getting the fuck out of here.
Adios, muchachos.
Magooch.
Magoosh.
Magooch. Okay. Jumbo Wumbo. I ain't stopping nothing, you motherfucker.